takes him 4 hours to set up a camera, and he's
What
a
do you call
pro.
it? You saw prima donna? Is that what you're
You
saying?
can look at yourself.
That's nice. Is that distracting?
Well, now maybe you look at yourself so that you look towards the camera.
Okay.
Cool.
It's record?
Yeah, so like this red dot, if that red dot goes away, it stopped recording.
Okay.
It should just record indefinitely. That's a camcorder.
And there's plenty of space on that.
Yeah, you have 6
And we're gonna
seconds.
send it to Murph anyway, so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna record an intro and an outro today,
Okay.
a new one. So start doing that as soon as
Like a
this Monday.
video intro?
No, just
Okay.
for the podcast.
Okay.
We'll record it on. You want us to record it on the
Great.
video?
Yeah, record it on that. And then we'll find music for it, or if you have that other music file that you already used, that works out great.
We don't need music. This can be just
Okay.
without music.
Yeah, but yeah, that
So-
sounds good, or the voice memo sounds great. When you were recording it through the GarageBand, it sounded a little funky,
Oh, really?
but yeah.
Oh, okay.
It just, since you guys speak pretty loud, it kind of like spikes and it gets distorted. So,
Say we're too loud, Murph.
that should be good. No?
Okay, so all right, so Murph, Monday's episode, Meg, I think, is already loaded up.
Okay, is she here? I'll just
Yeah, she's here. She's out there, but we're gonna record this today
Mhm.
and make sure you put the intro for the Surge, March 19th. It's March.
Okay. And your signature on your website is the same, right? It's like, here's 4 ways to work with me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Ask Meg for the latest one.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Good job.
Be in touch.
Good work.
Good to see you, Bill. Bring that up. We'll start right here. So we're already recording there. Bring that up and let's hit record.
We're
Now.
recording over there?
It's already recording you.
Okay.
Hit record. Let it go for a second.
Oh, it says Joe Bellasano.
Who's Joe Bellasano?
I don't know. For some reason, I think that might be the guy from Peak Performance.
It's weird.
Remember the Peak Performance gym?
Yep.
They were open when we
They were when we
started,
first
right?
started,
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Murph, here's your clap. We're live, the Fitness Business University podcast. This is Tom Langton. I'm here with Vince Gabriel. Vince, how are you?
Tom, I'm great. How are you?
Good. Today, we're gonna make Brent Gallagher happy. We're gonna skip the witty banner. We're gonna get the title of today's podcast is Social Proof. I think this is one of those things that you hear all the time, like especially in business world, but you're not really sure what it means. So we titled this Social Proof. Will you explain to everybody what do you mean by what are we going to be talking about? What's social proof?
Well, let me explain it and how things are explained best with a story.
Okay.
So, Tom, I want you to imagine Vanessa and I and
Vanessa's your wife.
my wife and
For
our
the
3
listeners.
kids. We're standing outside a restaurant and we're looking at the menu. You know, how, like the restaurants have the menu outside, and we're looking at the menu and we're kind of poking in the window. And we have 3 kids, 7, 5, and 3. And so somewhat of an adventure going out with kids that young, and you necessarily don't always want to take them to the nicest place where you got, and our kids are decent, but whatever.
They're kids.
So we're standing outside with the look of uncertainty on our faces. Like, should we go in or should we go in? We have never been in the restaurant before. The restaurant guy comes out and says, "Hey, you guys should come in. It's a great place. We got good food. We got stuff for the kids. The kids can actually go and play. We have a pinball machine where kids can play pinball." And it's not an automatic that we're going to go into the restaurant, right? After the restaurant guy tells us to come in. But then my best friend from high school comes around the corner and he's like, "Vin, what's up? How's it? Oh, everything going good?" And he's with his wife and his 3 children. And he says to me, "Are you guys thinking about going to this restaurant?" And you're like, "Yeah, we were thinking about it. We're not really sure yet." And he's like, "Oh, 100% go." We went there last week with the kids. I got a steak that was one of the best steaks I've ever gotten in my entire life. The kids were off. They had this pinball machine. The kids were off playing the pinball. We sat and it was almost like we had this meal by ourselves. 100% go into that restaurant.
And are you sold then?
What are the chances that I'm not going to go?
All right, so let me ask you a question. So from a business standpoint, what is the difference between hearing it from the business owner and hearing it from your buddy?
So the trust was with my friend, right? And not even because that he was with my friend, but he was like me, and he had this unbiased opinion. He doesn't get anything for me to go there, but he still recommended me. Versus the business owner has that incentive. The business owner wants to, him to go to the restaurant so he can feed his family.
Right.
Right? So you immediately will trust someone like you more than you would trust the person that's trying to get you to come into the gym. Hence why I get on a lot of the guys for, being, the person on the cover of their website, with their arms folded, looking all hard and tough, and why they're not using their clients more. So the whole lesson today is to use social proof to be able to get customers that are maybe on the fence to say, that's someone like me. They've gotten good results there. I'm going to follow. So it's a very, very, very powerful law of persuasion.
Law of persuasion. All right, so if you're a business owner, number one, you're saying not to use yourself as a center point. To start putting yourself.
I think that there is benefits to, and I was thinking about this. If that's the best way. We did a podcast on being a local celebrity.
Correct.
So there is a definite benefit into the owner kind of becoming somewhat well known. And even you, like, you're not the owner of this business, but you're a well-known person in this community. Like, we've gone to all kinds of different. So I do think that. So I am not saying to, hide in a bubble and never expose that you own the business or anything like that. But in terms of really showing proof of what you do, because there's not a lot that we can say. We can say till we're blue in the face. Our job is to educate, entertain, and inspire. Our job is not to convince that our place is so great. That is our client's job. Our client's job are the ones who are saying, this is where I was, this is where I am now, and it's because of these people. That's their job. That's not our job. So our job is to continue. Yes, you need to get out there. You need to be that local celebrity. You need to go public speak. But in terms of selling the place, the clients need to do the selling. That will be the most impactful to the business.
So this is a separate. So you're saying that you have to have multiple strategies. Don't just use one or the other. So you're not saying stop doing that and start doing this. But this is, if you're not doing this, you need to get your
rolling. Like I think if I had the decision, to run a Facebook ad, right, and it was me saying, hey, we got this program that's got small group training, it's got this, it's got that, it's got this, it's got that, versus a client that's got great success saying, here's where I was, here's where I am now. I'm going to pick that client every day and twice on Sunday.
Why? Is there talk to me about, like, is there a scientific reason, just because you know that? Like, what's the psychology behind that?
The scout run is what I just explained.
Yeah.
Is that they don't, it's not a lock for us to go into the restaurant after the restaurant owner said to come in.
Because of course he's going to say that,
right?
Yeah.
It's a lock that my friend around the corner says, this place is great, go in. It's a lock that I'm going in.
So
that's why. Someone
listening to this, how do you even begin? Like, where do you start?
So the social proof thing, I think everyone should read Robert Cialdini's book.
Say it again?
Robert Cialdini's book, Influence.
Okay.
And he talks about 6 laws of persuasion. If you're really into marketing, you gotta kind of get outside. I think people think like Facebook is marketing, right? And Instagram is marketing. It's like there needs to be a foundational understanding of what marketing really is. And marketing is influencing people. That's what you're really trying to do. You're trying to influence people to decide on your gym versus theirs. And I think that people need to go a little deeper in that, in that realm for that. And so Cialdini's book is a definite must read. One of the laws, there's 6 laws of persuasion. 6 laws of persuasion. And basically one of them was social proof. So I think that that's really, really important for people to be like understanding the foundational principles of getting new people in the door and using social proof as a viable means to get people in.
So give me some examples. Like how would you begin to use social proof? If you're a gym owner, if you're a business owner out there listening, what's a practical way you can start doing this?
Well, I mean, the first way, and I say this every time, and very few people take me up on it, but is taking one of your emails that you're sending. And it's funny, I spoke recently at the Mind Body Conference, and I asked people, how many people email their list 2 days a week? And it was like 130 people in the audience. And like there was like 2 hands that went up.
It's bad. You're saying it's bad?
Well, I don't know if it's bad. And maybe they're killing it other ways. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just look at something like email as this, you have this like invitation to just have a 2-way conversation with somebody. And it's just a very, very great way to get people to get from their homes to your gym, because you can communicate with them on a regular basis, versus kind of social media. They kind of have to find you.
Gotcha.
So I think email. But what I was saying was taking an email a week and sending some kind of a testimonial or a story or a magic moment or something like that, and using that as an email. And I'll tell you this, we've done this and you know this because you're one of the ones that kind of gathers everything, but we have done a Wednesday email where we've highlighted a successful member. And a lot of times too, people think with these like member highlights that it needs to be like this transformation of he lost 80 pounds or he lost 100 pounds. And I think another thing to realize is that everyone's results are different. Not everybody that trains. Weight loss is definitely the most common, goal, I would say. But that's not the only thing that you can highlight as a success.
So what are other things? If you're an adult, let's say,
how about getting to the gym twice a week? Right? How many people out there are, and again, it's not sexy, but it's not sexy to the person that trains 6 days a week. But I'll tell you what, there's a crap load more people that are training 0 times a week than are training 6 days a week.
So just by saying that you're making it easy, that it's easy to come here twice a week, and they make it very
for 20
seamless.
years, Johnny was struggling to get to the gym, and he just never made the time. In the last year, he's come to the gym 100 times. That's twice a week.
Right.
That's a story. That's not like Jared from Subway sexy story, right? But that is a story, and that speaks to a lot of people that are not. So that's why, again, it's going back to, it's so important to know your audience. But that Wednesday email that we send was like a mix-up of, really good results and, really just, things. We're demonstrating social proof. We're demonstrating that, hey, there are people here that actually work out,
Yep.
Right? It's not just me and you anymore, doing barbell back extensions.
Those are good exercises.
Like, in the very beginning of it's great. In the very beginning when we started, it was just, we had like 2 classes in the morning.
Yeah.
And then we had nothing till, it was like we would be done at like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or something like that. And then we'd have like from 9 o'clock to like 4:30. And we were just like, we would work out.
Film each other working out.
We would film each other working out. And that was when we thought like we were going to get a lot of YouTube views for our, Bulgarian split squat with the 40-pound dumbbells.
But the views are always bigger when it's not us, when it's our people.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into this a little deeper then. Everyone says, okay, that's great, a testimonial, I understand. How do you go about doing that? Do you just walk up to your clients? Everybody listening probably has some kind of clients, these success stories, you find them in your gym. What's the next step? Do you just throw your phone in somebody's face and start recording them? Do you ask them to do it?
That's a good question. So I did this recently with one of our clients, and we got into a conversation, and he basically said, this place is great. I love it here. And the key phrase I'm going to give, the tip I'm going to give is just to ask questions, just to continue to ask questions. Well, I said, well, what's great about it? And then we started to get into more of a dialogue about what was great. And then I said to him, hey, do you mind if I write down a couple things that you're saying? And he looked at me, he was like, no, of course not. Of course not. And so I started asking him more questions, and it got to the point where he started telling me the story about how he went to Colorado to go hiking. And this was when he was like 58 or 59 years old. He was just about to turn 60. And he's like, I did the same hike when I was like 52. And I felt better when I was almost 60 than I did at 52. And I was like, wait a minute. Do you mean to tell me that you feel better at 60 than you did at 50? Is that correct in what I'm saying? And he was like, absolutely.
It's a pretty good testimonial.
And that's like, what else do you need?
Right.
Like, that is a headline among, like, I feel better at 60 than I did at 50. That is 10 times better than I lost 40 pounds.
Right.
So I think that where do you get these things? So you get these things in conversations, and you're having these conversations every day. You're out on the floor with clients. All you have to do is ask questions and listen to what they're saying, and then kind of ask them to build on that. And then what I did at the end, I had all these notes written out. I was like, this is amazing. Hey, would you mind if I did like a little highlight on you for our website and the email? And he's like, yeah, no problem.
And most people,
and I think the fear is, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I think the fear is them saying no.
Right, exactly. But the majority of, we've probably had 3 or 4 people in 10 years say, please don't put me on your site. Please don't put me on Facebook. Yeah. It does happen. But like I said, out of hundreds of these testimonials that we've done, and it doesn't have to be extravagant, very few people say no. Most people are fired up about it. Most people are really proud of the work they've done.
Yeah.
So that there really shouldn't be. And they say no, you say, okay, no problem. That's just.
And only one time we put up a video of a guy and he asked us to take it down.
One time.
Yeah. One time. I mean, that was a very, very long time ago.
I had a guy the other day, I was training a session, and I think you got to listen for this stuff too. It doesn't always have to be you prompting it, but he was talking about how he gets out of bed easier now. His wife noticed.
Yes.
His wife, he was like, we were doing half Turkish get up, and he's like, this is what's helping me get out of bed. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, the other day my wife said, you're getting out of bed differently. And I was like, damn, that's like a great testimonial. So I'm definitely going to use that as a spotlight. So like, listen on the floor for things. People will talk about their skiing better. People will talk, again, it doesn't have to be 100-pound weight loss. If someone says, my knees don't hurt when I ski anymore, there's not a better testimonial than that. Those are more realistic for people as opposed to losing 100 pounds. Like, some people are intimidated by that, but if you're like, you can hike, you can ski, you can get out of bed without pain, it's like, damn, that's powerful.
That leads us into a really important point to talk about that you say, the whole 100-pound, the really, really rare testimonial. Right? And a lot of times we think that those are the ones we want to really highlight because it's a huge... But I don't remember, that's only really impressive to someone that also needs to lose that much weight. And I think you have to look at your target market. Right. And if you're training, if your main target market is people that need to lose 100 pounds, yes, all day long. But that's probably not most people. Most people are like, like you said, they want to get out of bed better, they want to ski better, they want to lose 30 pounds. There's so I think you have to like really understand your target market, understand what Here's another question, like asking them, like, well, how would they define success for being here?
That's a great way. Yeah.
How would they define success for being there? Because a lot of people are going to define it differently, and I will tell you that a lot of people will define success as I come to the gym. I never came to the gym. I never came consistently. The difference between the success for me is if I happen to tweak my back, I'm out for a week instead of 2 years. Like, I don't want them tweaking their back at all, but hey, stuff happens, and I'd rather them recover in a week than what used to just cripple them for years, because their core is stronger, because they're more flexible, because they're healthier, because they eat better. There's just so many more benefits to that. So I think kind of what we're unpacking in terms of this social proof thing is, I think the question was really, how do you get it, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get it? And the best way to get it is that, and I'm not on the floor anymore. If I was, and I was the owner of that business, like many of the people listening to this podcast, I would have either a notebook in my office or a notebook in my pocket. Obviously, they can use their phone, but you don't want to pull your phone out and look like you're texting on the floor, and show your team that you're texting on the floor. But that being said, I would be looking for all these little notes, all these little things that people say.
The way that I mostly do it is I won't necessarily do it on the spot, but I'll drop in an email later in the day, and I'll say, we had a conversation. We had a conversation today. Do you mind if I use that? Do you have anything else? And then I can email. Sometimes people are more comfortable if I send them 4 or 5 questions. They'll send me back 2-page essays about how awesome it was, and if they have a little more time to sit and think about it, they might give you some better answers. So a lot of the really good ones that I've gotten have been, do you mind if I send you 3 or 4 questions? And they'll write me back. And most of our people are educated people. They write well. So they'll send me great stuff back that's like literally cut and paste into an email or cut and paste into a Facebook page.
That's a great point, Tom. Like, I think that's we have that. And I just recently shared that document that we give people to answer the questions, because you're right. It's like, if you give someone and you say, hey, will you write a testimonial for me?
It's weird.
It's probably not going to happen. But if you said, hey, can you answer these 5 questions, and we'll put it into a testimonial. So all people need is like a 1 sheet of paper. I mean, you could ask them, where were they before? Where are they now? What results have they seen? And would they recommend it? Whatever it is.
Yeah. I did one recently we did a 6-week challenge, and I emailed 6 people from the 6-week challenge. The 6 people got the best results. I sent them 4 questions each, and I got about a page essay back. Everybody said yes. And everybody wrote me, and there were 6 weeks worth of Wednesday testimonials for us that we used in emails. They were great Facebook posts. It's really simple. You just send them 4 questions and get exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. So that may have me think of something. It's a little sidebar, but when people are in your facility, right? When I first came into Gabriel Fitness for an interview 10 years ago, I thought it was awesome. There was pictures of LaDainian Tomlinson on the wall, NFL football players. There was football helmets everywhere. That was really cool for me.
Right.
But I'm also a meathead,
yeah.
And I was 24 years old walking in the facility. Yeah. I wasn't your target market. So I think a lot of people in training facilities, especially a lot of people listening to this, are meatheads. So they will decorate the facility. So if you walk into Gabriel Fitness now, it looks. So that was one thing that was a big mistake that we made years ago. It looked really cool to you and to me. But we've changed that, so we'll talk about that a little bit.
Well, I will say this, that it wasn't so much of a bad decision. And the argument I'm going to make here on you is this. What was our main clientele when we started?
It was athletes, yes.
Our main clientele when we started was middle school and high school athletes.
Right.
And a lot of those middle school kids were football players.
That's true.
And a lot of the teams we trained were football players. So that was actually a very important part of our credibility. Now, fast forward to our target market now, we don't have any of that. That stuff's all packed away in my basement.
Yep.
Right? We don't have any of that stuff anymore because people care more about Kathy Balsamo, Kathy Balsamo, if you guys don't know, is a client of ours that pretty much turned herself into a local celebrity through her transformation at GFP. She is way more famous in our facility than LaDainian Tomlinson is, relative to the people at our gym. So now it's filled with pictures of our clients training.
Our target market.
Target market
Yeah,
clients.
because Diane Carr was the one we had all those athlete pictures, but she got a lot of attention. She was a businesswoman who was working crazy hours. She started running 5Ks. So when we started posting, she went from never running before to running a 5K. That got way more attention than any athlete vertical jump picture that we posted, anything like that. Dude, so what are some other ways that you can kind of drive this? Besides, so we're talking about social media, we're talking about the Wednesday emails. What are other really practical things that people can do?
I mean, I think too, when you're getting this is just like more of a technical thing, but when you're getting written testimonials, a lot of times people will put these really, really big paragraphs. And I think you definitely want to put a picture of the person. You definitely want a picture if this is like a still.
Why is that important?
So I think that you want to identify who's saying that, right? Because do people really look at all of the words right away, or are they actually going to see? All right, well, they're going to look at the picture first and say, all right, who is this person? What kind of person is this? And then they'll probably read. But what you should do is try and pull out of the testimony. And I worked on this with one of our mastermind members on a call recently. Is that he had this big lumpy paragraph, and what we did was we looked into the paragraph and found the best sentence. We found a really, really cool sentence of what it said within that paragraph, and we pulled that out and we bolded that and made that really big. So basically all they would really need to do is look at the picture and that bolded first sentence. And that will get them to be able to see the benefit, the result that client got. So I think that making it clear for people to see these testimonials is also very important.
I think the pitch talked about you just before the podcast. You were talking about that research study with the kids and the dogs.
Yeah.
So if someone sees a picture of you doing Bulgarian split squats with 80-pound dumbbells,
It was 100.
They were 80. I think they were 80 pounds. It looks cool, but to our target market, they're like, I don't even want to do that, right? But then we show a picture of a Diane Carr, who's a middle-aged grandma pushing a sled. They see, oh, that's someone like me. I can do it. So talk about the research.
They're seeing hope. They're seeing possibility. What they're saying to themselves is that if she can do that, I can do that too. And when they see me flipping the tire, right, they just see some crazy person flipping the tire. And granted, will there be some people motivated by that stuff? Yes. I can't stay you blue in the face that you're going to scare everyone away. Then no, there will be some people that will think that is cool. And again, it all comes back to your target market. But I have had countless people come to me and says, I saw the video of the guy with the glasses, like he didn't say his name, he said the guy with the glasses that said the doctor told him he was gonna end up just like his dad who had a heart attack, and they were telling me the story on the video in the consultation room.
Right.
They were telling me exactly how they got there. And it wasn't, I saw you and I thought you were strong on the Bulgarians. No, I saw the guy that kind of looks like me. I saw the guy that had the similar story as me, and I that's what kind of made me pull the trigger.
So talk about the kids and the dogs. Talk about the research with the.
Oh, the research story, and it's from Cialdini's book, but they basically took kids that were afraid of dogs, and they put them in like this room with a window, and they had them looking out to other kids like them that were playing with dogs, and they saw that all right, that kid's like me. Right. He's playing with the dog, so it must be okay to play with the dog, and totally just evaporated their fear of dogs because they saw it.
Yeah, no,
it was a demonstration.
Dr. Gilbert, who who's a sports psychologist, I remember, did he do the mousetrap with us, where he would set up a rat trap to snap off your hand on.
Oh.
And it was when I was coaching football. It was a coaching staff, and he put a giant rat trap in front of every coach, and he said, "Who's got the guy that's bravest to set it off without getting your hand caught?" And everybody's like, "No way, I'm doing this." It'll take your finger off. He brought one guy out in the hallway, showed him how to do it the right way, brought him back in. He demonstrated, and then as soon as he demonstrated, everybody easily set it off. And it was the same exact thing. It was like, "Oh, I see him do it. If he can do it, I can do it." And it totally eliminated the fear. But I think with lifting weights and exercising the way that we do, if they show you flipping a tire, you're like, I can't do that. But if it's someone that looks like you, somebody like, oh, I can do it if they can do it, I think that's a really, really powerful thing.
Yeah, so I think that the key as well as social proof thing is you got to use this in your marketing. You got to use it on your website. It's got to be on your Facebook. You got to be getting Facebook and Google reviews. You got to be using video and putting testimonies on video. You putting stuff out on email. This should be like a foundational component of your marketing. Is what are the results? What are the stories from the people that you're actually working with? And that is going to influence people. Social proof will influence people much more than you telling them you got a great program. I
think the key word for a lot of people listening is ask. Because I think people are waiting for these people to come and say, "Can you put me on camera? Can I be a testimonial?" When it's like, all you gotta do is ask. Everybody listening to this has people in their gym that are willing to do it. They just don't know they're willing. They just don't know you want it. So you just have to ask the people. Find those people that are like, everybody has diehard fans. Go ask them, and that's really what it comes down to.
Ask, but also listen. Right. The guy that I had that conversation with that I talked about earlier that was hiking in Colorado. I didn't ask him anything.
True.
He just came up to me and says, "This place is great."
Yeah.
So that's just an invitation, right? It's kind of like similar to the referral conversation, but it's just an invitation to say, "Hey, let's highlight this. And I always say the things, "Hey, I want to use your story to motivate other people. We got more people in this community that need what we're doing. I want to use your story to help motivate them. And usually they're pretty much,
And
like I said, not everyone, but most people.
And you've trained our coaches on it too. You talk about it all the time with our coaches, like listen for this stuff. And I think that's something you could train your entire staff to listen for.
Yep.
Because the front desk people are having a lot more conversations with their clients than you are. The trainer that's training 40 or 50 hours a week, he's got a lot more time. So if it's not you doing it, your trainer should be listening, or ask your trainers who's been telling you about their great success. And they have our trainers have way more stories. They know our clients way better than we do now.
True.
Because they're spending a lot more time. So train your people up. If you have people working for you, they know your clients well as well. All right. Anything else on social proof?
No, I think we're good. I think
all
that's.
Right. So what do you got? What's coming up in the FBU universe?
We got the Mastermind around the corner.
Mastermind, where is that?
Orlando.
Oh, that's Disney, yeah.
So that'll be in a week. When this is released, it'll be in about a week.
Okay.
And so we'll do that. Really, really exciting. Got a good lineup.
It's gonna be great.
Coming. And then the next search program's around the corner. And
when does that start?
It's going to start March 19th.
Quick 30 seconds for people listening. What is the search program?
It's basically the 6-week course that downloads everything that we teach for marketing and sales. So it's not just about marketing with lead gen. It's really also about how do you actually get more clients. And we finished the first run for Surge a few weeks ago. And some of the results were like, wow, like I can't, like this is like amazing. And remember, it's not even a program that's like, the program doesn't promise you 500 leads in a week. It's not one of those kind of programs. It really just teaches you how to become a better marketer. But some of the people, just by implementing the follow-up system, just by implementing a referral, strategy, they're doing really well. And we had a lot of people move on from the Surge program that joined the Mastermind from there. So the next one's going to be live on March 19th.
And when you say live, the 6-week course is not just you're sending people videos and emails. Like they're live. They're talking to you, interaction.
We do the call. There were some calls that lasted almost 3 hours. So I usually do the lesson for about 90 minutes, and then we do a Q&A. But sometimes the Q&A is just, the conversations were just great, and the questions were great, so we just kept rolling. So I kind of clear the deck. I clear my afternoon. I go home and I'm pretty wiped after that.
I've had a couple of those calls.
I have a couple of bourbons after the calls, but it's great because there's a lot of good things that come up, a lot of learning, a lot of brain fireworks going on.
And you'll literally stand in line until every question is answered. Basically.
Yeah, when guys trying to drag it too long, about all right, guys, I'm ready to go home now.
All right, so how does someone, if they want to get involved with that, how do we go about something?
Just directly from the podcast, since it's kind of early, they can just shoot me an email if they're interested.
What's your email?
At GabrielFitness.com.
Awesome. All right. Anything else, man? We gotta wrap this up. It's almost 3:30 and it's gonna start getting loud in the gym pretty soon. So
very good.
We gotta cut it short.
You got it,
Vince. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Tom.
You stop on there.
I don't know how you rename it. Edit recording. How do you name it? And why does it say Joe Bellasano? Do you know how to name it, Tom?
No. What else?